This episode of Pit Pass is brought to you by MarineEngine.com and Photo 54. Join us for another day on the water with the quickest competition boats anywhere. The power, the speed, the excitement that is USF1 Powerboat Racing. This is your Pit Pass.
Welcome to Pit Pass. This is the final round of the 2014 season, and yes, we are in Seattle. 65th anniversary here for Seafair. We're excited about being here, and the big thing this weekend is, again, Seattle is the place that determines championships, and the man who we're going to talk to, Tim Seebold, has put himself in a great position to win this title this year. Tim, you're so close after your victory in Valleyfield. First of all, let's talk about Valleyfield. Good day for you, second year in a row.
It sure was. You know, my dad was taking care of the motor on Saturday and Sunday up there. Did a fantastic job. The NGK boat just really came alive off the dock, and we were fortunate enough to win.
And it's always a special to win there, and the French-Canadian crowd, they love you there.
Oh yeah, they're crazy, you know. It's a bunch of great fans up there. They get a ton of fans, and it's always good to go up there. It's special for me because my dad was the champion, won the race in 1969, so it's got a special place for me.
All right, a couple of weeks later, now we cross the continent. We come to the very far of the west. We're in the Pacific, and now for you this year. A year ago, you had a shot, but it wasn't realistic. This year, you have a realistic shot. You're only 8 points back.
Well, we're still 8 points back, so it's doable, but some things got to go our way and some things got to go against Terry. So the only thing that we can do, I really haven't looked at the numbers. We're going to go out with the NGK boat. We're going to do as well as we can, try and win in every heat, try and put it on pole, and at the end of the weekend, we'll see where the points lay.
Yeah, let's talk about strategy. You talk about heats, and there are a lot of heats going on, a total of 6 to get you there, and it's going to be a bit judicious. You can't offer it all up in the first couple of heats. You got to save yourself, don't you?
At this point, you got to throw it all out there. Okay. You can't save anything because there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, last year was different, but this year, this course is unique for us because it is much bigger, longer straightaways. Yeah. So it takes a different prop selection that we don't normally use. You know, it's like a prop that you can qualify with at Bay City, which is a longer course. You could use that here for a race prop. So you can see how much different the prop selection is. But, you know, we've got some props that we think will be good. Main issue today is concentrate on qualifying, and then we'll pick a race prop out tomorrow.
All right, wish you all the best of luck. Great confidence. I love it. Congratulations on a great season so far. Tell you what, Tim Seebold now, he's ready to go to work. Let's go down the paddock and talk to another driver who's ready to do the same. Well, the man from Florida wants to become an 8-time national champion. Terry Rinker alongside. Tell you what, you didn't win the race last year, but you did win the title. Would you be perfectly happy with that again this weekend, obviously?
Oh, yeah, obviously. It's great to win a championship. That's the main objective of the team. It'd be nice to win one out here in Seattle. You haven't been able to in the past 2 years, so it'd be nice to bring home a win and a championship for the team as a whole.
Yeah, now talk a little bit about this race circuit. It's unusual. It's long, it's 1.3 miles around, but yet it's 7 pins. You got a long sweeping right-hander. Very unusual here.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to set up for this course because you got such a long straightaway on one end, so you don't want to give up a lot of top end because people will be driving by you there. But you still got to get through the short chutes and the right-handers, so it takes a lot of hard driving. You got to drive with a lot of speed coming into those turns, so it's really a big hard turn every time you get to the end of that big straightaway.
Yeah, a lot of heats to get yourself to the final, so it's going to be a very busy weekend here. here.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we're in and out of the water between the Unlimiteds and the other events and the air show. It's a wonderful event here. I mean, they really put on a great show, and I think we'll put on a good show for them here, and in and out of the water, hopefully up front as much as possible.
All right, Terry Rinker, who won at his home race in LaPorte, Indiana, now makes his home down in Florida. Feels like he can do something that he hasn't done in a year. Win the championship again. Let's see if he can do it for the 8th time. And by the way, there are ways in which you can be decided this championship. If Tim wins and we get even, and all of a sudden all the priorities and the dynamics come through and all the parameters are decided, it will be decided in a different way. Let's show everybody what's going to happen if they don't have it decided on the water. There's something very special. Okay. If this championship still has not been decided when it's all over,
Seafair,
say Tim wins, he has 2 wins, Terry has 2 wins, and all of a sudden everybody's got the same amount of podiums, they got the same percentage, it will be decided one way and one way only. By a cage match, wrestling match coming up. The man from Florida, ready to take on. What the man up there, champion from Missouri, wants to take him on. The cage match will be up there. The question is, who will come away victorious? We won't know until the sun goes down here in Seattle. We'll see you there. Hey there, baby. Tell you what, Bob, you're interested. The history of this sport is so fantastic. It goes way back. This is a card collection. $5 for this. And the Unlimited Hydroplane people are so good about talking about their past history. You can literally get these models that you can build, and you can turn them into, from this to this. And it goes way back to the 50s, slow motion 1950. So it's a great example for people who love the history of the sport. And that's not all. Come on over here. We've also got commemorative buttons for this year. This is the 65th annual event. But also, you've got buttons that go back honoring drivers of the past. And then, here's your card collection, which is fantastic too. So there's all sorts of wonderful items here. And of course, the Blue Angels are the big show above the water this weekend. You can buy the various hats. And I think most girls would love that. Even the boys. But difference in Blue Angels, and you can become captain of summer here with Seafair hats. You really go to town with this Blue Angels, as you got the collection of shot glasses. You better not do that before you go flying. Beer, of course, fins, and then of course water and refreshment cases that you can use when you go out biking. So it's great. And when you're not sure, just bear with the weekend like the rest of us. Welcome to Pit Pass, and yes, I'll tell you something, the man who won this race 2 years ago is back and ready to attack this year. Last year, Greg Foster, you were a bit of a test mule. This year around, though, you're getting really serious.
Yeah, Jake's trying to get these OMC Johnson motors running, and actually they run really good and they have a lot of horsepower. But we're still having little issues with them, but it should be worked out. But right now we blew this up. We're going to go put a DAC with the Mercury on it right now, and go play with that a little bit and try to get it running.
Yeah, a family member with the DAC Attack. That is a boat built by Guido Capellini in Italy. Not many people in this country have run these Kevlar boats, but you seem to really enjoy it. You've been racing these boats for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. When I used to race for the Wints at Sherwin-Williams, they bought a couple of them, and they were just great. I mean, I love driving them. They're probably one of the fastest, nicest boats to drive.
Third time around here in Seattle. Now, you won the opening race here back in 2012. What do you remember about it?
It was great. Got off the dock late, led the race from the at the first turn, and never looked back.
There will come a time
with the DAC and a Mercury on it. It was a great boat, and everything worked out from start to finish.
Yeah, it's sprint from start to finish. Now these races are a lot shorter than what we're used to.
Yeah, these are I think 15-lap races, and we're used to 30 to 50-lap races. So it is a shorter race for us, but it doesn't matter. Once you get out front, you just keep pushing and pushing and never look back.
Right on the edge.
One of the fastest drivers in his day. I ask you this question. It's been a while since you last raced. How fast do you get back into a boat like this? Is it like putting on an old shoe? Is it really comfortable right away?
Actually, I don't feel like I've lost anything. Just give me a couple laps and I get back. I feel like I'm faster today than I was 10, 15 years ago. Maybe a little smarter.
All right, we'll find out if he's smarter. Greg Foster, a little bit more gray on the side, but I'll tell you something. He is just faster than we've ever seen him. Best of luck this weekend. Have a lot of fun at State Ride.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Give him around, Jimmy Shane.
You know, Tim, this is how we live in the fast lane. Right?
Bubbles? Bubbles?
Hey, from over here you can't see it.
So is that going to be his new nicknames, Bubbles Foster?
Yeah. He's got a lot of nicknames. That's the nicest one I heard of.
Well, my broadcast partner for the weekend is Chip Hanauer, and he's won a few of these races, so I thought I'd come in and find out what his office is like since he works next to me in my office. So let's find out. Easy to get into. You slide in this way, and you probably take the wheel off because it's tougher for me to get down into this with the wheel on. It's snugger, it's tight, a lot more than I thought it would be. But really for Chip here, to get in, I'm surprised that the wheel is so big and so narrow, but yet this is not a new boat. This boat's been around for about 20 years, but you really feel one with the boat when you put the harness system over you. Very simply put, you got oil pressure, you got your temperature, your fuel gauge here, fuel is on and off, and basically you've got your timing here once you close the canopy. But really, it's big enough to where you don't feel like you're stuck and you're in a small shower stall. You really have a lot of room in here, and it actually feels pretty good. You can see the nose and the visibility of the boat very closely in front of you. So actually, it is a pretty solid and confident feeling once you're in the cockpit. Chip Hanauer won a ton of races. Hopefully, we're going to see a ton of action this weekend on the water.
Our 60-second gun contest winner, Debbie Estenson of Bremerton, Washington, has some very pointed questions for Kris Fairchild.
Well, here's Debbie Estenson, our contest winner. She's from the great state of Washington, and she's got some questions for one of her favorite drivers, Kris Fairchild. Debbie, go ahead.
Chris, can you tell me what the top speed is reached by most boats?
Every course is a little bit different. This course, we've got one monster straightaway, so we're trying to pull some big pitch. We'll be doing about 125 to 130 today.
Are the boats designed to hover on top of the water?
The boats are absolutely designed to hover on the water. They're very much like an airplane. We can control them like ailerons on a wing with the engine.
Okay. And who makes the engines for your boats?
Well, there's a whole bunch of manufacturers that have tried, but Mercury, my favorite little facility, is the only one to make one that has stood the test of time.
And how much safety is involved when you're out there racing?
Well, it is racing, so safety, I don't know, but we do things with 6-point harnesses. We've got air systems, we've got helmets, capsule jackets. The cockpit that we sit in is a safety cell, which is a carbon fiber composite, much like a roll cage in a car. So we're pretty safe.
Thank you very much.
All right, and my last question to our favorite driver here is, she talks about racing and getting things done on a race course. What happened to you in qualifying there, big guy?
Well, I'm pretty sure that there was a fish biting on the line of the buoy, and the fish drug it right out in front of me. It was kind of ugly, but whatever. Hey, you got to hit one of those once in a while to keep you human.
Only a Midwesterner could come up with a fishtail like that.
The
Thank
fish
you, Debbie.
was this big, baby.
So this is what happens when Formula One drivers retire. They start looking like these guys. All right. So how many years were you racing power boats before you decided to retire and look like this?
Well, about 25.
25? Yeah, very good. So is this something you did actively, or did you just plunge right into it?
I actually just plunged right into it. Yeah, you know, it just came right out.
And of course, drivers that are even older than Billy Seebold, a bunch of blue hairs like this guy. What can I tell you? That's Billy Seabold's younger brother, actually. That'll tell you how old Billy is. You know, the family's been around for 75 years, but this man is the signature son of the Seabold family. So you know what Billy's going to look like in another 5 years. Oy. So there you have it, ex-Formula One drivers. You can find them everywhere here in Seattle.
Absolutely.
In this installment of The Inside Lane, Mike and Dallas Beagle talk about what it takes to get their boat all the way across the U.S. up here to Seattle for the Graham Trucking Cup.
Well, here in Seattle, no, it's not the central part of the country, but millions of people love living here because the environment, of course the weather is fantastic in the summertime, but it's a lovely gathering place for people who have all sorts of different ideas of enjoying not only the city life, but also the country life. Now the thing is, though, not everybody lives in this area. This is the longest haul of the year, and the Beagles had to figure this out for themselves. Some drove, some flew. Let's talk to Dallas and Mike. Dallas, how did you plan this trip for your crew chief to get out here, and you guys flew out? I know it's a lot of work going ahead to plan this trip.
Yes, it's a lot of work just because my husband and I, we both have jobs that are not so easy to just take 2 weeks off to drive all the way out here. So luckily we had our crew chief Jason McBain and his very close friend Cindy Salked, who were willing to take 2 weeks and drive the boat out here. They made some awesome stops and were able to take pictures with the boat with Mount Rushmore behind it, Yellowstone. We got some great pictures for our sponsors, Fullerton and Stellar. So that's all been put on Twitter and just trying to get it out there. They got the boat out here just in time, and we're here Wednesday night. And my husband and I and the rest of our crew flew in, and we got here last night at 10:30. And it was a very long haul and long flight, and we're here this morning.
And for you, Mike, the driver and really co-conspirator of this team, you know, having fun with that, of course, you've had a great season, though, so far. Top 10 performances all the way through.
Yes, absolutely. My crew chief, Jason McBain, has helped us out on getting where we're at today. John Carwatt has helped us. It's just been a tough season. We put the 2.5 on this year. It's been a big learning curve, and we're just trying to be consistent and finish every race in the top 10, and that's where our goals were for the season before we started.
So what do you, a Michigander, think of being out here in Seattle? How do you like the circuit? How do you like this facility here in their 65th year?
Oh, this facility is awesome. The people here are nice. Everything here is really good, actually. I really enjoy the whole environment, the atmosphere. Having the bigger boats out here racing, it's almost overwhelming to take it all in.
Well, as the engines sound up, we're about ready to go on and do some qualifying this afternoon. For Mike and for Dallas, they've got some great help. This team together, coming out of Michigan, bringing them here to Seattle. Tell you what, I think you guys are set. You got your Christmas cards all laid out with these great shots. And more importantly, Mike is going to give his best because his crew worked hard to get him here in time for this racing this weekend. Is this the guy everybody thinks is a Stig? He's a Stig on water, this guy. Let's find out. You agree? He does agree. How about that? Let's see if he can run a boat better than he can stand up straight and say a conversation or two. Well, with 65 years, yes, a great tradition here in Seattle for Seafair, and of course the vendors are all over the complex here. There's tremendous things that are giving out for souvenirs for fans to go to enjoy the weekend, and one of them is one that's been given out for many years. I'll tell you what, you can find out who the real boat racing fans are if you put on one of these things. Hey, you may look goofy, but you know you've been to a boat race when you go home that night. Drivers have their own particular way of getting themselves refreshed and ready to go racing. Today, on the final day of racing in 2014, Mark Major, who's up in the top 4 in this championship, he's thinking his scenarios through his head. Let's see if he's awake, finally. By the way, Mark, congratulations. Last 2 races in this season, tying you for the best in your career. Can the podium be won today, my friend?
Absolutely. You know, I honestly feel that today is the day. You know, we got great weather. We've gotten better every heat this weekend. The crew's done their job. Now it's me, and now I got to do my job. And we had a great test session this morning. I feel great about our equipment, the boat, and the course. I love it. You know, it's challenging, and I enjoy that. And I honestly can't wait. I can't wait.
Up bright and early this morning, but yet the race won't happen until later on in the afternoon, so this is quiet time. Do you use this time to mentally zen? Are you thinking about your strategy, or just trying to keep everything out of mind and focus and not think about the rigors of the race ahead today?
I go through processes of just sitting and not thinking about anything, and then I go through everything in the cockpit. You know, off the start, all the things I got to do to try and make it smooth. So I'll go through stages of that, and then I'll just have times where I just want to go and have some water, Gatorade, pig out on some good food, and I used to get nervous when I raced a lot, and now I just can't wait to get in the boat, go have some fun.
Yeah, I think maybe 7 years of getting your business settled and so forth kind of calms you down. It's a bit of a quiet confidence, would you say?
Yes, no question, and becoming a dad. You know, I think becoming a father for me was makes you mature a little bit. So yeah, I think the team we have is gelled well. We threw all our team back together. You know, Ted, as you know, is a great team owner. Don Jenkinson's been in the business for a long time, and Ted's son Andrew Baguch is phenomenal. I mean, he's our IT guy. He's very smart, and he gives us a lot of feedback after every heat. I sit with him and we go through things, and that's done wonders for us. I never had that before when we raced. And that's really helped me this year. You know, watching video replay, watching the lap times and the actual layout of the laps. So, you know, everybody's doing a great job. Steve Haller, longtime friend of mine, used to race with me back in the day when I was in the 60 class. And, you know, he's a great guy. He's been at the shop lots helping us because a lot of work to be done before the races. And, you know, between Ted, Steve, and I at the shop, man, oh man, I think our wives are ready to shoot us, but it's been good. It's been a good mix, great team.
They're not here. Mark Major, I'll tell you one thing for this guy from Newmarket, Ontario. He has improved more than any other driver from the start of the season in LaPorte. Let's see if he can reach his destination this weekend and for the whole year, getting him on the podium. Best of luck today and getting to the top 3.
Thank you, Steve. Really appreciate what you guys are doing, and your cameraman Greg's been awesome this year trying to help us promote our sport. And let's face it, what we do here on the camera and how we can talk about our sport is what it's all about. So great of Seafair to have us here, and hopefully we can put on a great show this afternoon and come out with a podium at the end of the day. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
And I think the thing you have to realize is he made a bit of mistake on one of the things he said. He didn't become a dad, he became a granddad. I think he made that mistake, but best of luck, Gramps.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey!
Good morning!
It's another lovely day on the water.
You know what? There's no bad days on the water. There's no bad weather, there's just bad weather gear.
So what are you working on?
Well, we've got a power loss situation, so we're going to change a few parts out and retest it. And the problem with these engines is sometimes it's hard to troubleshoot them, so we're just going to keep going through the system till we find the part, because sometimes they test good and they're still bad. Sometimes if they test bad, they're always bad. So anyway, we'll get her done. It's all good.
If this thing runs for qualies, I'm coming back like I won the whole friggin' thing.
Well, the last time we saw Rob Rinker, well, he was being gingerly taken out of the cockpit. First of all, pretty dramatic event yesterday. Tell us what you remember.
Well, little hazy. I got more information once I got back to the race site. I thought I had barrel rolled in the first turn, so obviously the brain got jumbled around a little bit. Later found out that it was a couple turns later that I actually went over. Yeah, it was a little bit violent. I've been over in the boat before and barrel rolled, but never double barrel rolled, and never that hard. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you had a bit of mow going on there. You went over a couple of times, and of course, by the time they did rescue, they took their time to get you out, and then you spent some time in the hospital. What did they say to you once you got to the medical facilities?
Well, they were real concerned about, you know, internal injuries and making sure that my head was okay. You know, there was pretty significant damage to the helmet on both sides. Unfortunately, my Hans wasn't as tight as it probably could have been, and I think we're going to assess that later, and hopefully that'll help improve, you know, that way the mobility's not so much inside that cockpit, and I won't have a chance of banging my head again. But, you know, we did CT scans and everything came out. There's nothing up there. So,
we knew that.
Yeah, we all knew that, so I'll continue racing.
Yeah. That's why there's nothing up there, because he is going to continue racing. Seriously though, today 2 heats left in the program for the season. You're not running. You accept that pretty honestly.
Yeah, unfortunately I won't be able to be back on the water. The doctors don't think it's a great idea, being that I was out of it for a little bit. They don't want me to go back into not knowing what's going on. So, you know, we still got the Emswell boat on the water. My dad will be out there, and I think he's going to go for the win.
I'll tell you what, it was a short season in Formula One for Rob Rinker, but it's pretty exciting to watch. And you know he's got the speed, because he finished 4th here a year ago. Wish you all the best luck. Let's get you back in the F1 seat for 2015.
Yeah, I think you'll be seeing more of me.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. Importantly, that you're okay, and let's cheer on your old man to get him home for his 8th title this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be screaming in his ear the whole way.
All right, good. Well, old Mr. Hotfoot, I'll tell you something. You did a great job yesterday of doing your best to eliminate as much damage as possible. Once the engine went and it caught on fire, you did a great job of containing what you could do before the fire department came off, and more importantly, you shut off the fuel flow valve.
Yes, I've seen that happen before and had it happen to myself before, and first thing you have to do is make sure you get the fuel switch off and then do what you can to save anything. It's very unfortunate, but that's where we're at through Rod. Went through the block, hit an injector, and that's where the fire started.
Yeah, and once they came in and solved the problem, the good news is that the boat's okay. And the other thing is you had enough time to solve the problem. You had all night to get it back. You got a great dedicated crew to work with you.
Oh, the NGK crew did a fantastic job. We are very fortunate that it didn't burn inside the boat. We had to replace the power head, of course, wiring in the boat, and you know what, we've got it all ready to go. We tested it this morning, and everything seems to be okay, so knock on wood, we'll be out there for that next heat.
Yeah, being a true professional, you know you're running out of time. You got 1 heat left before the main. There's still points to be gathered. You're 19 down. Hey, crazy things have happened.
Well, at this point, the only thing we can do is try and win the race and do the best we can. We've got 1 heat race left to try and work our dock position up.
And we're trying to
we'll see what happens. You're right. Crazier things have happened, so we won't give up till the last checkered flag flies.
Tim, it's been a fantastic time watching you this year. The team continues to be the best in professionalism on this tour. Thanks for stopping by. Wish you all the best of luck today. It ain't over until it's over. You got 2 more heats in the main this afternoon. Best of luck in chasing down that 6th national championship before it's all over today.
Well, thank you, and I just want to thank all my guys at NGK. They did a great job to keep me going this weekend, and you know what? We're not giving up until it's over.
Jim Seebold never, ever gives up. Big meeting coming up next. Don't go away. We're used to professionalism in this sport in Formula One. I want to show you a graphic example of how low this series has got. Let's start off by introducing you to Mr. Lounge Chair here. All right, Ted Greguch. This guy once was a model of efficiency. Had a body like a god, a Greek god, and now look at him. He's barely able to get into this chair. There's no way he's getting out of the chair. I can guarantee you that. He won the 90, was it the 90 Mod VP World Championship?
91.
Seems like yesterday. 1991, and since that time, he hasn't done a damn thing, have you?
Don't need to.
Why?
I live off my laurel.
You know where the laurels are. Yeah, Laurel and Hardy. This would be Laurel, right? No, this would be Hardy. You look more like Hardy. I feel more like Laurel. But anyway, what have you got to say about this team? We're wrapping up the season. You've had some good points, bad points. Your driver's got 2 fourths in a row, tying the career best, so he's only getting better, despite you.
Well, we're trying to do our best to keep him at the front of the pack.
Yeah. Are you cheering from the rear or are you cheering from the front?
I'm cheering from the front.
So over the winter time, besides snowmobiling, you're going to try to do anything to get this boat ready for next year? Bigger, better schedule?
Hopefully. We have plans, maybe on a new boat, better motors, more propellers. We got to get the wall working harder. Yeah, we've got lots on the go.
Ted Greguch, a monster in this sport, and he smells like it. But I'll tell you something, Ted Greguch has got a chance to steer this team, all seriousness aside, he's got a chance to really move this sport forward. We wish Mark Major the best of luck next year. Is he coming back, by the way?
Well, definitely. I've got a deal for at least 2-3 years.
He's stuck with Mark Major for another 2 or 3 years. Ted Greguch, a god on the north side of the border. In the States, he means nothing.
Nice.
F1 tunnel boats now instead of the unlimited hydroplane, and they are going to complete their championship for the Graham Trucking Cup. And so we welcome Steve Michaels, sits back down, throws the headsets back.
Again, it's going to be a big start for Tim Seebold. He's going to need to have a perfect start. They dropped the flag, they off they go. Probably crash out of the front straightaway. Rinker can punt the boat right now. Just call it quits, and he's going to win this championship.
The first place trophy, the winner for the 2014 Graham Trucking Seafair Cup Final is the number 10 Amsoil boat of Terry Rinker. Terry, come on.
How many times have you guys heard this name over the past couple of years? Congratulations,
Terry, we have Steve Michael, the voice of F1 racing. He just sings your praises as a great driver today. Almost everything you have to do.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Steve, for all those lies. But, it cost me a lot for him to say that. But yeah, I can't say enough about our Amsoil team. I mean, we just work hard all year long, and you know, James Chambers, my crew chief, my wife, my son, all the guys that come along with us, Ken McGinnis. I mean, I can't say enough about the hard work that they do to keep me on the water and keep the Amsoil team up front and to bring home another championship for us.
It doesn't ever get old, does it?
It never does. I mean, everybody says, don't you get tired of winning? That's something I don't think you ever get tired of. The feeling's always the same. Every time you win a race, you hold that checkered flag up and carry it proud and do it again and again.
We look forward to you coming back to Seattle and having a chance to win another one of those cars. Terry Rinker, congratulations. Thank you. Picture time for your 2014 Grand Trucking Cup winners right here. Very nice, guys. Thank you all.
Well, guess what? The monkey's off his back. Jose Mendana Jr., his first career podium. Well earned, but you got to be saying to yourself, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, we've had several slip through our finger cracks here the last few years, but man, we've had such a rough season this year. Probably been one of the most frustrating seasons we've had in my 9 years, and we show up, fourth motor, we blow up in 4 races on Friday, and stayed the midnight hours, working, rebuilding one thanks to NGK, Seabold team, helping to put one together, and we just found the setup that hooked up in the final. Came out great on that first start. We were smoking. That red flag came out, and then it was like, no. And just got fortunate. I just feel so relieved.
Yeah, you've done well in the past here in Seattle. This time you get the podium. You must like this circuit here.
Yeah, you know, it's fitting because this is probably my the hardest race that we have to help promote for the series, the administrative side. But this is an awesome place to come to. 3 years already, can't believe it. Looking forward to the future. And I think this is going to be the boost we need going into 2015. I think we're going to have more coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say now, of course, the momentum rolls along. It's always nice to finish the year on a high note like you have.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this one. I got lots of months to enjoy it. And then I found out my brother finished 4th. So both in the top 4. That's great.
How about that? Jose Mendana Jr., the driver out of Miami, Florida, who runs this series, but guess what? He's also a great professional driver. He proved it today, his first of many podiums in his career. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll look forward to seeing you come back in 2015.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Tell you what, the man who won this race 2 years ago claimed getting very close to winning it another time. I'll tell you something, you haven't been running many races in 9 years. I think this is like the 4th one. And boy, when you show up, you really make an effect on the race field.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time since I haven't raced very many races, but it just seems like once it's in your blood and you still have it, it's sure fun to do. I love doing it, so I'm going to try to go back and do a full season next year.
Obviously, you hate it here in Seattle. You win it the first time 2 years ago, and then you come in second today. It's really a very special place, isn't it?
No, it is. Like you said, we won it a couple years ago, and then last year we didn't do very well. But it's nice to come back and get a second. Seattle's a great place to come to. They put on a great race site, and the people are awesome.
So what's it going to take for you to be more than a one-race wonder now? How are we going to get you on the tour for 2015 full-time?
Well, I already went and bought a boat and motor and gear case, and so I just got to kind of get some sponsors, and we'll try to make the full season next year.
All right, he's halfway in the door. Let's see if he can get a few more sponsors. Anybody out there want to go for a winner? This guy is a winner, a podium guy, Greg Foster. Congratulations on a great day.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's a great place. Thanks.
Here in Pit Pass, we get a chance to talk with the man who has captured his 8th championship, 4 in a row now. No one has ever done this before in this history. Terry Rinker, congratulations, buddy. Made it look easy today, but it's more than that. It's a lot of preparation.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't say enough about the Amsoil team and James Chambers, all my crew, Kim McGinnis, my wife for putting up with me working so much at this stuff. You know, that's all it is preparation. Having everything done right and ready and you know, just doing it right. You know, first you got to finish first, and we finished a lot of races and haven't not finished very many.
Yeah, and what a wild start the first time out. I thought maybe you and Kris were going to change and add a little paint to each other's paint scheme for a while.
Yeah, we got a little close there. Kris jumped out there with me, and there was some rollers right off the start dock, so we had to deal with that right off the bat. But we got out there and finally got a little steam on him and made it to the turn in front of him. And unfortunately had a little accident, but got to restart too.
This season, 3 out of 4, now 8 out of the last 13. Sum up 2014.
I tell you what, it's just been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun, though. I mean, my team worked so great together. Having my son here this weekend, you know, racing with us was great. Unfortunately, he had a little incident, wasn't able to, you know, run the final. But you know, it's just been a wonderful year. I mean, the Amsoil team and our sponsor Amsoil has been so gracious to us to keep us on the water and keep us in good equipment. But it's not just that; it's the work that you put behind it. All the money in the world can't buy work.
The day is yours. The weekend is yours. 2014 is yours. Congratulations. Enjoy the evening. You've earned it all. Congratulations, champion 2014, Terry Rinker.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Well, it's less than 24 hours since the last race, so it's a great way to sum up this 2014 season, the 30th anniversary edition of the U.S. Formula One Powerboat Racing Tour. It all began in LaPorte, Indiana. Great crowd of drivers showing up, good crowds there along the beach, perfect weather, and Terry Rinker got a break that first race. He thought he had lost it, as a native Indiana driver was in second place with 2 laps to go, but Tim Seebold got a dose of bad luck. He broke his propeller just enough to slow him down for Terry Rinker to come away with his first win of the year. We went off to Bay City, Michigan, and yes, Terry Rinker again this time did just enough to get the job done. This time it was Kris Fairchild from Illinois who was looking for a victory, came home in second place, his best performance of the year. Tim Seebold took a disappointing 3rd place, and he knew the pressure was on him as he headed off to Valleyfield, Quebec. Well, he went up to the lovely city just outside of Montreal, and he did exactly what he had done in 2013. He won the race and came away with the victory and brought this championship to a close very closely in points, with just 8 differences between Terry Rinker, Tim Seebold. It all came down to the final race this weekend here in Seattle. Terry Rinker did just enough. Tim Seebold felt the pressure, got an engine caught on fire, couldn't quite get the boat to run the way he wanted on the Sunday show. Terry Rinker dominated the final day, captured the championship for the 4th year in a row, and he has now won this championship 8 different times since he started racing in Formula One 19 years ago. So hats off to the driver from Tampa, Florida. Terry Rinker and the Amsoil team wins again. Everybody else, they're going to be after him in 2015. And also a shout out goes to Jose Mandana Jr., the hardworking president of this organization, coming home with a great podium finish, his first of his career here in Seattle. It was a great season. The weather was fantastic. We had a wonderful time. We hope you did following us. So from lovely Seattle, I'm Steve Michael, the voice of this series, saying thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again shortly in 2015.
In marine racing, this is known as an outboard performance craft. 18 feet long and powered by a high-performance outboard that puts out more than 250 horsepower. It weighs less than 600 pounds. While While underway at speed, if it strikes a small solid object in the water, the hull will be severely damaged. If it strikes a larger solid object, it'll disintegrate. It is designed and powered to be driven in excess of 120 miles per hour. Every year, in races all over the world, men climb into the cockpits of such boats and do just that. Why?
Let's hear once again for another one of these fabulous starts.
There are two types of outboard performance craft races: sprint marathons and endurance races. Sprint marathons are relatively simple, consisting of 4 15-minute heats. In these races, most of the crew's work is in setting up, including the installation of a smaller-sized 10-gallon sprint gas tank. The endurance races demand far more of the crew, as well as of the driver and his boat. They last for 6 hours, and to keep pit stops to a minimum, a larger 36-gallon gas tank is installed. That's a lot of gasoline to be hauling at 125 miles an hour on a crowded course. Endurance racing has been called the ultimate proof of Murphy's Law, which states that if a thing can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Case to Gary, I hit something. How bad, Case? She's taken Wilbert past. Bring her in.
Adjustment work on the carburetors. They've got the captain back down on the side of the boat again and running for some fuel.
All right, Earl. Now, lay back. Lay back, but I can take him.
2.5 minutes.
Repeat. Lay back. I can take him. I'll be past him in just a few. Reggie, you get a copy? Reggie, there's a boat turned over on the turn here. You're coming up on it. We can't see the driver from here. Can you give him a hand?
10-4. I've got the boat, Gary. Don't see the driver. Okay, there he is. Seems to be okay.
To win races, you have to go where they are. And to the Team Mercury crew, that means traveling about 80,000 miles a year. To places in the United States such as Miami, Florida, St. Louis, Missouri, and Lake Havasu, Arizona. And in Europe, to the historical English seacoast city of Bristol, and across the Channel to Paris. With all that travel, you think the crew would be accomplished tourists by this time.
Actually, we never seem to have time to do much sightseeing. That doesn't bother us. We're pros. Wherever we are, we're there to do our job, and that's what we keep our minds on. Like last year in Paris, Gene Trike and I were working on one of the boats, and all of a sudden, there was a hell of an explosion behind us. And Gene said, "What was that?" I told him, "One of the English boats just blew up." And he said, "Hand me my 3/8 wrench."